Hi, everybody. This is Heather Coleman, your intuitive medium and spiritual guide. And welcome to this week's three card tarot heads up. These messages are going to apply to you in some way if you're finding this video. So, whether you're on live on Facebook, the replay on Facebook, if you're on YouTube. Now, we're talking about the week of September 4th through 10th. So, if you're finding this video anytime around then amazing. Then this reading is for this week for you. But I'm going to put this out there too. In my own experience and other people that I've spoken to over YouTube, there are times that a video will simply pop up, like a reading video or something like that, and it will apply to me right now. So this has happened with people I follow on YouTube, people I don't follow, where an intuitive video will simply pop up, maybe from 3 months ago or 4 years ago. I'll play the video and the messages apply to me right now. So whenever you're finding this video, just know that this is what your angels, spirit guides, and deceased loved ones want you to hear right now. So with all of that being said, couple things I want to mention before we get to the cards. The next message circle that I'm hosting virtually through Zoom is going to be on Sunday, September 17th, 5 o'clock p.m. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. The card deck that I'm going to be using this week is our Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radleigh Valentine. So what I'm going to do is hold up the cards for you to see. This is a great practice for you to tap into your own intuition. So I want you to just take a breath here. Do whatever it is you do to feel connected to the divine. There's really no right or wrong to this. Everyone has their own process. And just observe what you see, hear, and feel, smell as I hold these cards up, and see which card or cards you're drawn to this week. So here is card number one. Card number one. Are you drawn to card number one? Here is card number two. Are you drawn to card number two? And finally, here is card number three. Card number three. So I want to give you a moment to let that percolate for you. And I'm going to talk just a little bit more about what the message circle entails. So this next one is virtual through Zoom. It's happening 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, September 17th, from the comfort of your own home. Now, no two message circles are the same, but one thing that you can expect at any message circle with me is a guided meditation. And the meditation is something that is personalized to whoever is there, meaning that when I guide the meditation, I am channeling and listening to deceased loved ones, angels, and spirit guides, and then everyone will get an individualized reading. There will be a time for questions and answers at the end, meaning you can do that if you want to. You can ask questions if you want. Sometimes the participants have answers to each other's questions, so that part is optional. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an amazing circle. Now, let's get into the cards for this week. Again, we're using our Angel Wisdom Tarot deck by Radleigh Valentine. Card number one, those of you that were drawn to card number one. Oh, and quickly before I interpret these, I just want to say that, well, I think most of you this week are going to be drawn to just one card. Still tune into all three because the cards do unfold like a story, and you might say that whichever card you're drawn to is like your chapter, but you still want to understand the story as a whole. So card number one, interesting card. We've got the Four of Cups, chalices, emotions, and the fixed meaning of this card, meaning in most tarot decks, the meaning of this is that maybe you are sort of in your head a bit. Maybe you're missing opportunities that are in front of you because maybe you're too caught up in the daily annoyances or still ruminating over the past. It could be any of those things. And you notice we've got this young man here, and there's an archangel behind him trying to help him realize, look, this beautiful full cup is available to you. All he's able to see are those three cups that he's sad about. Those three cups that represent maybe whatever didn't go right or currently isn't going right. Now, when we're in the kind of mindset of, geez, there are certain things that aren't going right, it's okay to do that. Sometimes we need to work through those thoughts and feelings, but what we don't want to do is we don't want to get so caught up in thinking about what's not going right that we miss opportunities. And we also don't want to lose sight of everything that is working in our lives. Believe it or not, that process that I just mentioned, that's what tends to get us bored, because when our minds get stuck on the wrong, we tend to be focusing on that, and after a while we get bored. And you look at the main guy there, he looks kind of pouty, doesn't he? So if you're feeling that way this week, set a timer. Just say, I'm going to let myself ruminate for an hour and then I'm done, okay? Getting lost in our own world, that can happen. If you're feeling disconnected, look for ways to get more connected with people. The angels do want me to say this. This may be happening for a lot of people at this time. We have 7 planets currently retrograde. Mercury will be going direct. I believe it's either September 15th or 16th. The energies tend to overlap anyway. So with all of these cards, I think there's a human tendency when you see a card like the Four of Cups or say the Eight of Swords, cards that are saying, look, maybe we're getting ourselves stuck in a negative thought loop. Maybe we are the ones that need to get ourselves out of it, and that can be the case here. With all that being said, we don't want to blame ourselves, because when we have these kinds of planetary energies, we are more prone to that, because we're being affected by the energies which tend to drive the actions and the thoughts that are going on. So the collective consciousness. So the message this week, everybody, is just catch yourself if you're getting into a negative thought loop. If you're feeling disconnected, look for ways to reconnect with the outside world, and tell yourself, say, what I want to do, I want to keep sight of opportunities that are coming along in my life. I don't want to lose sight of opportunities. That's your message. Now, moving on to card number 2, also from our Angel Wisdom Tarot deck, we've got the Ace of Swords. For some of you, this is going to piggyback on that message from card number 1. This is one of my favorite swords cards in the suit of swords, because often it has to do with mentally knowing the right next step and needing to discipline ourselves to say, all right, I need to feel confident that this is what I need to do, and not to allow the swirling emotions to throw us off of that. So many times the aces have to do with a really good beginning. And in this suit, swords, we're talking about the mind, the intellect. So this is a matter of us making a decision saying, hey, you know something? I know what change or changes I need to be making, or what I'm going to start, what I'm going to be working on in the next, let's say 6 months. Let's say 6 months. And this week, again, that Ace of Swords is a call for us to stay clear in that, to just watch our own swirl of emotions, and don't let your your emotional ups and downs sway you from knowing, I need to make this promising new beginning. I love the fact that our author Radley Valentine does tend to put so many butterflies around the swords, because it really, I feel, does soften the energy of this suit. In fact, one thing I love about this deck of cards is that I often have trouble, energetically speaking, telling the difference between the suit of emotions and swords. And that doesn't happen for me with any other tarot deck. And it is because I do feel that the author did such a good job of rounding out these energies, which, if you're drawn to this deck, what that means is that you're someone who is doing a very good job of balancing your thoughts and your feelings. And that is going to lead us right into our next card. So again, some of you are going to be drawn to all of the cards, I feel. Balance. So major arcana, XIV would be, I think, it's 10 plus 14, I want to say 14, but major arcana. Balance with Archangel Zadkiel, and I want to check, but no, that's Raphael. Well, okay, so those of you that want your Archangel for the week, we got Raphael for card number 1. That's who's peeking out from behind the tree with his little chalice wearing green. Now, Zadkiel is our Archangel for balance and temperance. So emotional balance, and notice we just had that message about swirling emotions when we very well may have the mental clarity to know this is what I need to do or the changes that I need to make, but we've got these up and down emotions about it. Archangel Zadkiel is our best friend at this kind of time to just help us to ride the emotional highs and lows of life. That's what the life experience is. That's what it means to jump into the human vehicle and have an incarnation, is to experience the emotional highs and lows and everything in between. So call on Archangel Zadkiel, card number 3 people, to help you with that this week. The power of diversity. So if you are, card number 3 people, if you are having a challenging time right now balancing out different viewpoints. So the word diversity, for the purposes of this reading, is talking about very different ideas. Maybe you being around folks that have different belief systems, different ideas than you do, and observe what that's pulling up in you. So keep in mind, this message comes through a lot when I read from Spirit, that people work as a mirror for us. So if you're triggered by viewpoints that are very different from your own, great. Use that trigger as a mirror to look at what is that pulling up in you and why are you having such a strong reaction to the fact that you're around someone, or we might say someone's ideas that are very different from your own. Card number 3, Archangel Zadkiel, for emotional ups and downs and balancing out our own reactions to diversity of beliefs around ourselves. So everybody, I hope that this reading brings you some peace and clarity this week, or whenever you're happening to find this video. Those of you that are finding this video right around the time it's made, and who have kids that are getting ready to go back to school, best of luck with that. My best wishes to you and your kiddos that are going back to school, and this beginning of, we say fall, even though the equinox isn't for a few more weeks, but for people that are kind of around that school schedule, this is like the beginning of fall. So best of luck, everybody, with that this week. Don't forget to check out the link to register for that next message circle that I'm hosting. It's online through Zoom, September 17th. That's a Sunday, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, meditation and psychic readings in that circle. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact me through my website, heatherlcoleman.com, or direct message me through Facebook. Until then, everybody, peace, love to you, and namaste.